Good morning. Good morning. My name is Dawn Hilton Williams, and welcome to Urban Eat Speaks, where we're radicalizing wellness one bite at a time. Last week, we had the distinct pleasure of having a guest in, plant-based Greenville physician named Dr. Beth Morris, and she talked about lifestyle medicine and diet. And today, I find myself lucky again to be in the company of an excellent guest. This mompreneur, goalpreneur, and all-around business and community leader happens to also be a vegan and a good friend of mine. My guest has launched at least 2 successful businesses, 1 thriving foundation, numerous products, and is a brilliant magazine publisher. And her name is Kim Chapman. Welcome, Kim, to the show.
Hello, everybody. How you doing this morning?
Oh,
thank you for having me, Dawn.
Thank you for being here. I know that you're very busy, and I'm so glad to have you on our schedule today.
Anything for you.
Oh, thank you. This is because I feed her. Don't
exactly.
With Urban Eat Speaks. But no, I appreciate you, Kim. We'll be talking a lot today about health, wealth, family, and community wellness. And I'm excited because we'll also get to talk about a little bit more about you and your journey. Because people may not know. They know that you're a great businesswoman and entrepreneur. And they don't know you're a mom and a grandmom and a family woman, and how you balance business and family in your lifestyle of eating, and how all that worked together for health wealth. So I'd like to ask you, starting out with almost 30 years of business experience under your belt, what fueled the fire that got you started in the business in the first place, your businesses?
Well, ever since I was a little girl, I felt the need to be in business. So as I was growing up, I just knew that I was going to be in business. I couldn't keep a job because
that's an entrepreneur. Then.
Yeah, I couldn't keep a job. They fired me. So finally, it came to pass that I got into business with my husband, and we produce products all over the world. And we also produce Sheen Magazine, which is all over the world. And we also give back through CFI, our foundation.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about Chapman the Chapman product lines. Tell me a little bit about that, because you and your husband have been at this for quite a while, and you birthed that baby. Tell me a little bit about your product line.
We've been doing that for years. My husband is the scientist or the chemist behind the product, and he's also a stylist. Okay. So he started it, and he's very good at the products, but I'm very good at the administration part.
I know that you are. And if you know Kim, you know that she's right. So
we continue to do that, and the products are for everybody. We don't discriminate. Nairobi is the product that has the moisture in it, and also a relaxer system. We have a dandruff shampoo and conditioner, and we have a growing products. Let's see, that's also in that's Nairobi, and it's in the dandruff sauce line. Excuse me. We have Congo. It's a natural product off of the natural woman and man. And we also have Carafina, where you put on your hair. If you have like a soft curl, you can put that on there.
Like our hair.
Yes.
So soft curls.
Soft curl. And so it will eventually release the curl even more, giving you a smoother, softer, less frizzy look.
Okay. So you have that, and you also have a skincare line.
Yes, it's newly, it's new on the market, and it's Akura. So we will be launching that in this month or next month. Oh,
this is perfect timing. So look on the shelves for Akura.
No shelf. We don't put our products on the shelf.
Okay, well, let's talk about that.
If you find it on the shelf, don't get it, because we don't guarantee it.
Okay, so we'll talk about that a little bit, just a little bit more. I was speaking with someone just before we came on the show about product lines, and I know we're going to get back to food. Don't worry about it, everybody. We'll get back to lifestyle and food. But this is important, too, because it's about Black businesses and supporting and entrepreneurship. And we must always, when we have an opportunity, to continue to talk about that so that we support one another.
Right.
So Akura, that product will not be in the shelf. If you see it on the shelf, you all sell direct distributor.
We direct
to distributor. Okay.
Sure do.
So when you see it on the shelf, Nairobi and these things in stores, you might want to give Chapman products a call. That's not their product.
This may not be our product. It might have something else in it, because we do not sell to the stores.
Okay. So what's the best way to get your product?
You can call us at 864-862-6282 or get in touch with your distributor. We have distributors all over the world.
Okay. Wow. Okay. Well, I'm so glad that we cleared that up for the listeners. Just in Chapman Foundation does quite a bit with HBCUs. Tell us a little bit about the Chapman Foundation and what you do with HBCUs.
So each year, starting in August, we have an HBCU tour where we go in to South Carolina State. We give money to the We've given money to South Carolina State University, North Carolina A&T,
Aggie Pride. My daughter is Aggie Pride. Yes.
Fort Valley State, just a number of different HBCUs because we believe in an HBCU. Of course, we'll also give individual scholarships, but the HBCU is a must.
It is.
In our community, because I remember I went to a mainstream high school, and when I stepped on the campus of South Carolina State University, it was like the world opened, like, they look like me.
And it was beautiful,
felt
wasn't
good,
it?
and my professor looks like me, and he takes a strong interest in what I do and how my future is. So, yes, that feeling alone makes me always support South HBCUs because it's nothing like it.
It isn't. I went to Virginia State. I'm a Virginia State Trojan, and it was nothing like when you first got on campus. During our time, Different World was out. It felt like we were on a different world because we walked around. I had my Kente bag and my and we just we could do anything. And watching those professors really encouraged us. It's just we must support our HBCU. So thank you for what you're doing with HBCUs in the community. We really appreciate it. We need the support. So as we talk about all the things that you do and the support that you do, tell me about the things that you do with your life as a vegan. Tell me the top 3. So when did you decide to make that transition into veganism?
Well, even when I was small, like sometimes when I was growing up, eating meat was like a prize. Like you didn't get it all the time. It's like once a week, once every 2 weeks. And so my grandmother would cook. I remember her cooking beef. And when she cooked the beef, she had to put it on the stove, put the onions and the peppers and all that. And it would actually make me sick. Like just the smell of it would make me sick. And then the smell of pork made me feel nauseous. And then if I ate it, my heart would palpitate. Now, this is when I was younger.
So you were born to be vegan. Yes. I think we all were. There's an innate part of us that is herbivore, but that's another show. But and then with beef, I would get fever blisters. And so I said, I was like, why am I getting fever blisters? So I stopped eating the beef. And I get no fever blisters. As a young person.
As a young person. And so then I said, I tested it. I went and got a burger from Burger King.
Okay.
And sure enough, 3 days later, I had a fever blister. So it just does not work with my insides.
Okay.
It does not. So no fever blisters.
No fever blisters. There was a real reason beyond the ethical reasons and the health reasons. You had a physical reaction to meat.
Exactly. And then meat just wears you down. Like, and somebody told me, they said a chicken is very aggressive and it carries on. So can you, and that spirit of that animal,
the flesh,
is in you.
It's in the flesh.
So then everybody's acting wacky.
Okay.
And you don't know why you acting wacky.
It's a part of the flesh you carry in when you're eating. Whatever you ingest, they say you are what you eat.
You are what you eat.
But you are what you eat, and and in that sense, there's no different in that. Just like when you ate all those vegetables your grandma made.
My God, I remember those Sundays. We had spring onions, tomatoes, corn, butter beans, cornbread. Oh my
greens,
God.
all kind of greens. Let's not forget the greens.
That's not. She knew how to put down some greens.
Like, why are we getting hungry around here? Is there any food in the studio?
No. I'm on this is my 13th day of a 21-day no food fast. So I've only been drinking water, but
she's drinking special water. Let me Kim, let's be, she's not doing all the way water. She has a specialized water. Kim, tell us about what you're doing right now to cleanse yourself.
I have a machine at home that takes, once I put the water, I think it's about a quart or more that I put it, a gallon, and I put it in this machine, and it takes 5 hours for it to distill. So it takes everything out. And so, of course, a lot of people know that when you drink distilled water, it clings to things and takes it out.
Okay.
And so I'm cleansing my body. So that distilled water that I make, it takes everything out. So I have really been cleansing.
No, that's good. And that's almost like a natural colonic if you don't go and get the colonic, but you shouldn't do that too often. I mean, once a year or so. Yeah. I'm not certain the science on that, but I know that if you do the cleansing, you can start off clean and whole. I know that you've been with me, and you also do coconut water. Is that right?
Oh yeah, I go to. I'm gonna see if I can get somebody in Greenville to give it to me, but I usually go to Atlanta to the store and they give me cases.
Cases
They
of
don't
coconuts,
give me
actual
cases.
coconuts.
Yeah,
and you
actual
crack them.
and I crack them open and drink the water.
Okay, now this is a dedicated foodie right here now. and I just another note, when you're not doing that, you've been with us in Urban Eats Food.
Yes,
You've been doing the
God.
weekly meal plan, and she's been a dedicated vegan to that. And tell me the top 3 things that outside of this fast, when you go, how has vegan changed your life for the better?
Oh my goodness, I think clearer. I'm gonna be honest. I see better.
You see better. Your vision.
My vision is much better.
Mm-hmm.
I have less aches and pains. Like my whole body is like, hey girl, what'd you do? Let's wake up again. We like 25.
The energy, right. You're
Yeah.
feeling, right.
Yeah.
Excellent.
And
excellent.
so I'm 13 days no food, and my energy is like out the roof.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, people like, oh, I can't do that. Well, you can't do that because you're not mentally prepared.
Right, and that's the same thing in vegan, which is what we're talking. All of it's having to do with that health and health wealth. So,
well, you know, it's very important to be vegan because they put all this stuff in front of you. You got McDonald's, you got all these different places that you really don't need to go to. Now, they need to change the way that their diet or their menu because you can get a French fry and stick it somewhere and eat it 2 months later. That's not a for real French fry. You know
that's not
healthy.
It's definitely not healthy.
And then our bodies try to process it. What in the world?
What in the world? Now, we'll be talking about that when we come back from the break. We'll be talking about what the health. We'll be talking about what the health as well. But we need to look at different ways to it. So you felt healthier. You feel more energetic.
Yes.
You feel more. You feel more energetic. You feel younger, and you have better vision. Mm-hmm. So how has that worked for your family? Has that had any impact on your family, your children or grandchildren?
Yes, my daughter is changing.
Okay.
She's gonna
meat. She's been eating the vegan food. When you bring the weekly
honey.
meal, like sometimes she takes the food, as I understand. She sometimes gets the food before
You're
you
awesome. You know what you're doing in that kitchen, girl.
Thank you.
That's right. If it weren't for you, I'd be so upset here in Greenville, South Carolina.
No, you'd be fine. She'd be driving to Atlanta. That's
I'd
what
be
she'd
like,
be doing.
Dawn, come and give me some food. Give me some food. In the 9 days, I'm gonna be blowing your phone up.
I know she'll be back. So what we need to do,
I gotta get some of that meatloaf you be doing.
So chickpea meatloaf. So tell me, the flavor. So tell me about, as African Americans, we tend to think a lot about food, just like you loved your grandmother's food. Mm-hmm. The flavor is what we struggle with when we try to go vegan. Often I've gone to events and different things, and the food, this vegetable, and it gives you the idea that's vegan, but it's really not. Vegan is a large idea, but the food doesn't have a good flavor. Right. Doesn't have any seasoning, doesn't have any herbs. Tell me how important that is to you when you're eating, and how what that does for you.
It's very important to me. But, I think it's systematically done that they put vegetables out there and they have no flavor so that we continue to want to eat what's not good for us. Like, you get all these cheeses and these fruits and things, but they never really try to take the time to flavor it because America, to me, wants you to be sick. So if you want me to be sick, why would you flavor and make it taste good when you go out somewhere? So you have to have people like you who understand, hey, you still want to indulge and enjoy your food, so make it nice. And, when you go to these schools, these, what are they? When you go to...
the culinary schools.
Culinary schools, yes. They teach you how to make things nice. But so why would you have your chef make vegetables that just are so bland?
Okay, yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's a very important point. I never thought about that. And this is something, food for thought for me. Mm-hmm. They are bland, but you can make them exciting. Yeah. So that's what we do at Urban Eats, and that's what
yes, you do.
And that's what we all need to be looking at when we're looking at a new point of view for food. Mm-hmm. So when we come back from the break, we're going to be talking to Kim about what's truly important, which is our health wealth. So stay right here with Urban Eats Speaks.
Before you make a decision, just how you let me go because the choice is made. That's why wise choices are made with great vision. And then that's why I hate these words that I say. You better think about your choices.
Are you tired of exercising and dieting like crazy, only to find you're still leaving the doctor's office with a fist full of prescriptions and a lot of bad news? Are you tired of your loved ones falling victim to completely preventable chronic diseases? If you answered yes, call Urban Eats at 877-581-3171. 877-581-3171. Urban Eats is your premier plant-based food and wellness solutions company, specializing in big, healthy flavors. From prepared meals and food demos to advocacy and consulting and catering. With your health in mind, Urban Eats wants to partner with you. Change the health destiny of you and your family today at urbaneats.com or call 877-581-3171.
Think about your choices.
Welcome back. Welcome back to Urban Eats Speaks, where we're radicalizing wellness one bite at a time. If you're just tuning in and joining us or on live stream, I'm talking with the vegan entrepreneur and community leader, Kim Chapman of Sheen Magazine and Chapman Products and Chapman Foundation. Welcome back to the show. So, Kim, I'd like to discuss with you a subject that isn't easy in our community, and that's that health conversation, food and health conversation. I pulled some stats from the CDC and the Office of Minority Affairs, and I want to share a couple of facts before we dive in, just so we have some perspective and some idea of the depth of the pandemic that's going on in our communities. I know it's something we don't want to talk about and don't really talk about, but if we don't know what the problem is and we don't know how pervasive it is, we're not going to get to solving it. So, according to the CDC and the Office of Minority Affairs, the death rate for heart disease in 1 year with African American men is 289,000. So I want to let that sink in. 289,000 men have passed away, and 176,000 women of preventable heart disease. Heart disease is completely preventable. Going further with the research, we have the death rate for cancer over a 4-year period, and that's 254,000 African American men and 163,000 African American women. And that's an average of 64,000 a year for men and 41,000 a year for women. And a good number of the problems and risk factors for cancer are preventable through diet and lifestyle change. We're talking about some other things about the study. African American adults are 40% more likely to have high blood pressure than whites. And we have to be honest about what it is. African Americans are 30% more likely to die from heart disease than whites. So what are we doing differently? We have an obesity problem. The problem we have with obesity is 40% of our African American men over 20 are obese, and 60% of the African American women. And we're very hypertensive at a 45% rate, and we are a quarter of us in the United States are high in cholesterol. So, Kim, when you hear these numbers, and they're very serious, it's a very serious matter, how does this impact you as a member of the African American community?
Well, first of all, I look at who the messenger is, or the statistician, the person taking the statistics, and I'm very careful with who that is, because they can give you the information that they want you. To me, America intentionally gives you wrong information. So what's important is that the right people give the information. People like you who has a radio broadcasting that can give us the information. But I also learned that the heart disease is because you eat meat. Cancer is because you eat meat. Meat has a lot of problems with it. But they keep telling you that you need protein. Protein comes from your plants, and your animals eat the plants.
Right.
They get their protein from the plant. Exactly. So I am very cautious in what I read and hear, because I know that we have been so systematically, mentally deranged by our informers. So I very rarely listen to them. I go and I take the information for myself, and I decide what I'm going to believe.
I understand that.
Because our community has been so oppressed in so many ways, we need to band together and quit believing the Jim Crow laws.
We need to band together for sure and get our mind around what's important.
Exactly.
So, and you make a good point that we can't believe everything we read. But
No.
as a African American woman, my family, I'm the oldest member. My cousin Patrice and I have a brother. We are the oldest members of the family now. We're in our 50s. My father's side of the family, everyone has passed away of chronic disease. So personally, I know those numbers work as it relates to heart disease. There was heart disease. There was diabetes. There was obesity. There was which is a risk factor for it, and there was cancer. So everything that is happening to our community, I've experienced, and I know that you have too.
Oh, I definitely.
I know you have too, but we don't need these things that are happening in our community and in our families. These are preventable things, is what you're saying. And what I'd like to make sure we discuss is what ways can we, in our community, change the way that we think about health. For one thing, for instance, health wealth. You and I were talking about that earlier. And one of the things that I think about this term health wealth is we look a lot about financial wealth. We are we're up and coming. We're upwardly mobile. We're doing very well. Our numbers are better if you look at the numbers. But our health numbers are in the tank. I'm just going to be very blunt about it. They're in the tank. And they're in the tank because we're making decisions that are putting that there. And marketing is one thing. We're being marketed to differently. We're being targeted differently. And as you said in the earlier segment, the vegetables that we do get, we're not getting them in the way that have the flavor that the protein meat does. Right. And you're right, the dairy and the protein comes from the cows and chickens eat grain. Exactly. The very thing that is third party protein versus the direct protein. Right. So I want to talk a little bit about health wealth. How do we change the mindset of, in your opinion, of African Americans from health as a back burner and wealth generation as a front burner, financial wealth, versus health wealth as a front burner? Because that's the thing that matters. So how do we kind of have that conversation to change the mindset around what's important with health?
Well, we need people like you to bombard us with information.
I'm good at bombarding.
Yes.
I am. And
we
you're good
need
at
that. And we need to help change the mindset of our people, because to me, the word tradition is a bad word. Because what you're doing is you're just going through it because my mama did it and my mama's mama did it, and that's not good. You got to wake that brain up and do something different. Because if you know that your mom ate this way and it didn't work for her, why would you?
That's a very good question. Why would we? Because it's almost generational. It's almost like the idea of generational poverty and generational anything. Tradition.
Tradition is a bad word.
There's some good things about tradition, in the African tradition and some of our heritage traditions, but not in food.
No.
Because even in the initial thing of food, it was slavery. And when we talk about food and slavery, we were vegetarians coming over here eating yams and okra. And we got the food that was left over. And we got into that whole tradition of eating leftover meat parts as a way to sustain ourselves from a 14-hour day of work, a 16-hour day of work. And that made sense to us. Yeah. But it doesn't make sense now, does it?
No. Well, us as a people got to quit asking. It's like a woman asking a man to do right by her. We keep asking our counterparts to do right by us. When they ain't going to do it.
Why are we asking
So we need to do it for our darn selves. Like, get together and make it work, because the people you keep asking to do for you, they just not going to do it. We have had over 400 years of asking them to do right by us. And they're not going to do right by us with food, exercise. They're not giving us all the information that we need.
Economic equity.
Anything. So as a people, we need to do it ourselves and just change that mindset. Just change it.
So just changing the mindset, that's an excellent point. We must take control of our destiny.
We have to.
And then with Black Panther coming out and empowering us and all these other things that we're doing, we can see it, uncolonized world. But in the colonized world that we're in, we can still change our mindset.
Right.
So do you have any, what are the best ways to change how did you change your mindset for our listeners? Because a lot of our listeners want to do that. They don't know how. They don't know where to begin. It's not that they don't change their mindset, but it's an adaptation. So how do you break that cycle?
Well, most people most people don't live. They just go through the changes. They get up every morning, go to work, take care of the kids, pay the bills, buy your car, buy your house. It's like they own zombie mode or robot mode.
Neutral mode on poster.
They're not living. They just are there. And you have to change that. You are here to live. You are to enjoy your lives. And and take care of your body, because the temple that they talk about is your body. So take care of that temple. It's the only one you got right now that you have use of. So take care of that temple. It's the only, I mean, in the beginning of the day, the end of the day, when you're sick, when you're not feeling well, you got a headache, only one person is with you throughout that time, and that's you. So why wouldn't you take care of you?
Right.
Nobody else. You might say, oh, my husband is right there with me. He was there, but you were there.
Right.
You know, my friend was there. Your friend might have been there, but at the end of the day, you going to be there. So we got to really look into those mirrors and forget about the information that was given us years ago, like you're not worthy, or you look ridiculous, or your skin is terrible, because people that talk like that are people that don't have self-esteem themselves. They don't like themselves. So rather than to admit that they don't like themselves, they push it on someone else.
Okay.
It's like a bully, you know. How can you tell bullies to stop bullying if they're already a bully, you know? Bullies telling bullies not to bully. But anyway, take care of yourself. We need to give information. We need people like you, Dawn. You're an extremely wonderful woman. You're a wealth of information. And we are privileged to have people like you. So,
thank you.
Yes, thank you for doing what you do. Thank you for having me here, talking with you. But you're an awesome lady.
So what we want to, and I just love the points you brought up. You brought up so many hot issues that we need to come bring you back in, because I really want to talk a little bit more in the future show with you about the temple of the body, because, you know, as we go out and get ready for our next show next week, and we want to thank Kim for coming here today. When you said the temple, that brought me into something very important. The temple of the body is the thing that carries our soul.
Yes.
The thing that carries our soul. Are we going to treat it like a 5-star hotel, or are we going to treat it like a Motel 6? So
that's right.
That's kind of what I want to talk about, you know.
I like
in
that,
the next
Dawn.
segment. Well, you know, I'm trying to live in a 5-star. People live in 5-star homes, but they have the Motel 6 soul houses. So my soul needs to be habitating in a Motel 6 or a 5-star hotel.
5-star.
So we'll talk about that more next time. And thank you so much, Kim, for coming. And we'll tune back in to Urban Eat Speaks next week, where we're radicalizing wellness one bite at a time.
You better think about your choices.